So you've been making music for a little while and now you want to get it out to everywhere. In this video, I'm going to break down 5 key things that we need to do to make sure you get your music distributed everywhere in the best possible way and reach the right audience. So whether you're a singer-songwriter, an electronic musician like me, sharing your music with your audience is a key part of growing a music career, and just generally sharing the things you've created with other people is a great feeling. If you've already shared your music onto other platforms and uploaded before, I'd love to know where you started. Was it Bandcamp? Was it SoundCloud? How did you first go about it? I would really appreciate that. So let's just briefly look at those 5 key things, and then we'll dive a little deeper into how we can execute on each one of those 5 steps. So step 1 to this process are choosing the key platforms you want to be distributed on. For most people, this is going to be Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Google Play, etc. But sometimes there are some niche stores. Things like Beatport and Juno can be really important for certain genres of music. So when you've established that base of stores that you want to be on, we then need to kind of reverse engineer how we can get to all of those platforms, as well as the other ones that are relevant to your space, and the major ones like Spotify, which cover the gambit of listeners. The second step is to prepare your music. This means it's ready for a professional audience. So it's been mastered and is set to be distributed on streaming platforms and lossless platforms alike. For example, Spotify needs a certain type of master where reduced quality can be played, whereas Apple Music will be able to play back your lossless CD quality file as well as those other versions. If you're not sure how to do this yourself, this is where you would look to hire a mastering engineer to deliver you those correct types of files, because you're going to need to upload the highest quality, most polished version of your music. Step 3 is making sure you've got all the correct artwork and metadata for your release. If you're releasing to digital platforms and stores, they all require a piece of artwork to go with the release, whether it's a single, whether it's an album. And it has to be an individualized piece of artwork. It can't be stock photography, and it can't contain any kind of promotional material. So some piece of artwork needs to be created, ideally in these dimensions here. And it's useful to have all your metadata for your track to hand as well. This can be things like the song lyrics, composers and producers' full names, mastering engineers' names, and all of those other things can be tied into the track, as well as things like your ISRC, which can be handled by your distributor. And that brings us on to step 4. We're going to upload our music into our distribution network. Now, my distributor is DistroKid. I've been using them since they launched and released music every single year with them since 2015. They allow me to get all of my music onto all of the major stores that I want to be on at a price an independent artist can easily afford. If you wanted to find out a bit more about DistroKid and distributing your music with them, there is a link in the description below that also offers you a discount off of your first year of unlimited distribution. The distributor you choose may depend on any specific stores that you want to get in. The reason I like DistroKid is it allows me to get into those key stores that are really important to me, as well as hundreds of other smaller ones and the big major ones that everybody covers. And step 5 is promote, promote, promote. Another reason I really love DistroKid is it has some fantastic built-in promotional tools for my music once I've uploaded it and got it ready for release. I'll link a video below that has 5 of my favorite features, or it will pop up on the screen now if you wanted to save that and watch it afterwards to see those useful promotional features. So that's a top-down view of the 5 elements of getting your music out to everyone and everywhere. Let's dive a little bit deeper now into how we would do that on an individual step-by-step basis. Now, when looking at platforms, you might not necessarily want to be everywhere, because the reality is, even if you are available on every platform, you're unlikely to be discovered. And by picking a select few, it means you can focus on those. For example, you can probably gather I focused quite heavily on YouTube and thus have built an audience up there. It makes sense for me to post and put my music out, as well as the things I'm creating, like this content for you, on this platform. And as a result, when choosing the distributor, having the content be able to go to YouTube and have a dedicated YouTube channel, and in this case its own Vivo network, and be available on YouTube Music was all very important to me to keep everything in that same little ecosystem. Spotify is another key one, where sharing to Spotify and having its pre-save features and its analytics is very, very useful. So my advice, while putting your music out to all the places you can, make sure the key ones you want to focus on are incorporated within the places you want to go to. Something that might be important to your listeners as well are things like lossless audio. There's only really two places that you can distribute to offer that as streaming options, and that's Apple Music and Tidal. But if you also wanted to provide that as a download option, well then you want to be on Beatport and Bandcamp as well, which allow lossless file downloads.
You have chosen wisely.
So you've chosen your platforms, and you need to make sure that your music is correctly prepared to be distributed on those platforms. And a mastering engineer will help you out with that. Some of the distribution services, for example, again, DistroKid has a built-in mastering service you can make use of as well. The DistroKid one is called Mixia, and others are available in other distribution services too. A quick word on self-mastering. I never used to master my own music, but I actually did radio broadcast masters for many years of talk shows and whatnot, so I had the capacity to do it. When my old mastering engineer retired, I started self-mastering a lot more, and I found it a very, very interesting topic. If you're into your music production and you really enjoy that aspect of it, self-mastering does have some benefits as well as some drawbacks. Next, we need to make sure that we've collated all of the correct metadata. What I like to do is I use the Notes app on my phone or on my Mac here, and I have my artwork dropped in there. I have any references in there that were used. I have any information or artists who are in there. If someone's recorded vocals for me and I wasn't the engineer for recording the vocals, the name for the engineer, the name for the vocalist, the details of when it was recorded. If I haven't mastered it, who the mastering engineer was, just all of that metadata tagged into a simple note, so I can open it up and it's got the artwork and all of that data in there ready to copy and paste for distribution, and it's just a nice running record of who has worked on the track, so I don't at any point forget anybody, which isn't really fair or nice, but it keeps everything consistent and well organized, and the Notes app just lets me tick everything off. As for getting artwork done, well, if you're a skilled graphic designer, that's fantastic. Myself, creative person, I love creating pretty much everything. I think I've done almost all of my own artwork for unders. Some of it I'm happy with, some of it I look back and cringe at. That's the reality. If you're not that kind of creative person and you purely work in the audio kind of realm, well, there's options out there. You can use services like Fiverr or Upwork and hire someone to do cover art. It could range anywhere from $5 up to a couple of hundred, depending what you're after. Nowadays as well, we also have the AI options. Midjourney, for example, is absolutely fantastic. And if I remember correctly, the artwork for Bring It Back was Midjourney, and then I brought it into Affinity and I edited, gave it a new background, put my branding and everything on it. So a combination of the two can also work really, really well. Alright, so now we've got our music uploaded, it's got a set date, it's ready to distribute. Well, the final step is promoting it and making sure people see it. And that honestly is going to be the hardest thing. And I can't fit it into this video, but what I've done is make a playlist right here for you, which contains some of my most popular videos all around that topic. So I look forward to seeing you in some of those. Take care, and I hope this was helpful. See you soon.